Bingo.
The mystery is there's no bingo. Dum 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 dum. Hello. Definitely getting cool, isn't it?
It is.
I gotta go and sand those skirting boards. I forgot the ones I did in here.
Which ones?
Yeah. If you want to do.
It's a day wasted when people do that.
Yeah, it happens.
It's like when I was trying to get rid of those pallets. I had about 10 people, and this one, it's just me, 2 kids, I could really use them, blah, 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 blah. Nearly a week, and then I said, that's it. That's why I won't give an address till they're leaving home.
Yeah, so you said 300 was okay for this and the eaves.
Yeah, he seemed quite happy with that, didn't he?
Mm.
Just annoying that she could have, we'll just have to work it out. The paving guys just
I know.
to work
I told this
around.
guy he might have to walk the stuff down, which is all going to be singular pieces, both the trusses.
Where were the paver guys starting tomorrow?
Well, it'll be a bobcat, starting to grade and cut and get levels. So this has to be gone. Look, in a couple of hours it'll be pretty close, gone. So by about 8 o'clock it should be good.
Yeah, it's just, what did he say, what equipment's he bringing, or what?
I said just bring all sorts. He's going to bring a ratchet gun, which will make things a lot faster.
What's a ratchet? Oh, to undo screws
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Quick.
How noisy are they?
That's fine. It's only going to be ratchet in probably half an hour. No one's going to complain. It's got to be gone before the pavers, so.
Yeah. So how thick is that concrete?
Eh?
How thick is the concrete?
Oh, it'll be random.
Yeah, because it looks a bit
I can see on the very end there's just like a brick footing underneath and concrete about that thick. But that's that end. I don't know this end.
Now that all the sides and
But I mean, that's put in 40, 50 years ago.
yeah.
So it's not going to be very thick. You'd never park a car in there.
No, I wonder if they ever did actually.
Mm-mm.
Be surprised, you don't reckon?
No, there's been no room to get out.
But looking at it now with all that off, I'm sort of glad it's going.
Oh, it would look different.
It's just like I said, annoying this guy. He
Yeah, but
probably
that
could
happens.
have had any one of those probably
Oh.
would.
I got one from that lady saying, can you deliver it?
I'm always specific. I write capital letters, pick up only, can't deliver. And then I'll write, like this, you either dismantle, depending what it is, and please bring someone to help as I cannot help, if depending again what it is. I make it all very clear on the post. Like I said, it's annoying for the fact it could have been gone today.
Well, yeah. Such is life. Just gonna go and check. Paint. Meant to do it earlier.
Yep, saw a butt go past. Bit nippy here tonight. Hello, Crystal. I wasn't watching the chat, so he says he'll be back in a sec. He's just gone to check something. Oh, no, I think he's actually gone to the toilet. Hey, Danny. Oh, you'll get to see Seeds walk past in a minute. You'll see his legs. Satchwash. Oh, we're doing good. Just tired from sort of couple of days no one came and did anything around the house, and then the last 2 days it's painter, paver, kitchen, skirting boards, what else? So much happened at once, and it sort of wears you out in a good way. Ah, you're working, Danny. Here he comes. Checking the paint situation out because tomorrow he's going to paint the skirting boards.
Yeah, they're both Berkshire white. This is helpful. This is the one I used. I'll use this.
Yeah.
And the other one I've used the same.
Using up all our bits of paint so we don't waste nothing. Danny's here.
Hello, Danny.
She's here but listening, yep. I don't know if she saw that. And Crystal's here.
How are you? Good morning. See the shed? All the sheets have gone off the shed. Yes, Sajwash. I'm impatiently waiting for my love to come home. It's like an old romantic song. Or like something from Shakespeare. Wherefore art thou?
Yeah, I would. Then you should see your leg shortly when you walk back down.
Yeah?
So you've made her day. I
Yeah.
was going to say night, but it's day there.
She's probably going, my God. Look at that. So, we got all the primer on the walls today for inside. And it should be finished by Monday. That shed, what's remaining, all the framing, is going tomorrow. So you're still home, Fanny?
She might not answer. Oh, yeah.
Yep. I'll be looking forward to the end, that's for sure.
Yeah, while you were in there explaining what all the work that's been done over the last 2-3 days.
Okay, Crystal. Getting ready for work.
Oh, that's nice.
Did you get my reply today on Snapchat?
$1,600 miles is how many kilometres?
Probably about 2,500.
Kilometres?
Yeah, it's only from here to Adelaide.
Oh, it works that way. I thought it worked.
Just up the road.
I thought it worked the other way.
No. Give you an idea, 1,000 miles is 1,600 kilometres.
Wow.
So about 2.5, 2.6, something like that. Oh no, on WhatsApp. Sorry, yeah, I'm tired, Fanny. I'm tired. I'm just a poor old Sasquatch. My fur is covered in paint,
I tell you
and
what,
putty and sand.
you'll be calling me Mrs. Sasquatch soon if I don't shave my legs.
Yeah, there's a fair growth on them, that's for
There
sure.
is.
Nothing a whippersnapper wouldn't fix.
I mean, when you can feel
He
it.
came from Texas to Ohio in the US.
Wow.
So, Crystal, are you with this person or you want to be with this person?
No.
I'm a little bit confused.
With them, they
That
move.
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Love is in the air. Dun, dun, dun. Good on ya.
Yeah, together. It's nice.
That sounds like a good story. I remember seeing a funny sketch years ago. I think what show it was on. Oh, it was Dave Allen. And Dave Allen's dressed as a woman. And he says, Romeo, he's on a tower. And he's, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? And this bloke in a peak cap and like a, chimney sweep. He said, my name's John. And Dave said, yeah, you'll do. You met on YouTube.
But he's with you now. Well,
But does it make AdSense? I'm only kidding.
that is a unique story. People can meet anywhere, anyhow.
Doesn't matter where you meet.
It's the end of the story, or the story that unfolds from the meeting.
Crystal, it's a never-ending story.
Yeah.
And the supermarkets are still crazy here.
Yeah, what that little news article I let you listen to.
The thing is, I don't blame people for going buying a lot of food because they don't know what to do. And by getting some food extra, they, at least in their mind, doing something. There's so much confusion about what you should do, where you should go, what you shouldn't do.
There is.
Same as everywhere else, there's lockdowns in certain areas, certain industries are basically just closed. There's no entertainment industry, hotels, very limited, restaurants. They're closing anyway because no one's going. You don't need to tell a restaurant to close if there's no patrons.
The ones that are opening have taken every second or third table out. So you've got space.
Yeah, but people are just making their own minds up.
Well, depends what age, it's how bad that side of things affect you. Well, like, you know, so to tell you, on my local site, there's a lady found about 20 board games that she hadn't seen in years, dusted them off, and she's made it clear it's just on loan. But of course, you know, wipe, disinfect between each person, you know, all that story.
It's just a good old pack of cards. There's
Yeah,
billions of games.
She had all that, you know, if anyone wants to borrow it.
My goodness, it's an aircraft.
And
Don't hear them now these days much.
I remember I've actually got a jigsaw puzzle in the cupboard. I mean, I'm not going to put it out now, but we've got stuff. It's just, you know, it'll go back to, it's horrible what's happening, but it'll go back to maybe...
I've got to admit, Fanny, I watched the whole movie that you did, but on my iPhone, I have old eyes. And I said to the missus, can you read that? She said, no. So I'm going to have to go on the laptop to look at it. Yeah, no, I couldn't make it out, I'll be honest with you. But I will go on the laptop later tonight and I will read it.
I've been saying...
Not sure what shots they were near the end, but they look quite delicious. That's what's going to happen if she comes here. You know what's going to happen. Every night will be cocktail night. She can personally make me my bacon shot.
So look, people on the oval, but the lights aren't on.
I don't know. Maybe they're zombies.
I could have sworn I saw a flash in there before.
Me and Mrs. C's, Mrs. C's. Yeah, and you just mentioned the word bacon. Do you notice that you start salivating and mouthing? You can smell it, even though we're just talking about it. A rectal thermometer under the doormat. Ooh, nice.
Mel wrote, Dino.
Look, we've all got to be cautious. I mean, you, out of all of the friends on here, Danny, you are the most susceptible. We understand that, and we know what stress you'd be under doing it. You're doing a job that you do anyway. You'd be one of those field nurses in the World War I, going out to the trenches.
Yeah.
Just to see men in uniform. No, I mean to cater for them. But the point being is we do respect what you do.
Yes. No, Mel.
Nope.
You just stay where you are.
So we've got all the new brass lifters on the sash windows, which some of you might not understand, but they're things you put your fingers up and push up the window. They're on, they look quite good. We've got to do a bit of patch-up work. Yes.
Maybe in a couple of weeks' time we won't sound so tired.
Well, maybe not me.
Huh?
All right, Mel. Good to catch up with you.
All right, Mel.
Have a good sleep. Good cool weather for sleeping anyway.
don't you, Mel? Always.
Oh, there's a dancing moth. Or a little midgie. What is it? Just there in front of you.
I think it's a midgie.
See? Or is it
Yes.
a muzzie? Could be a muzzie.
Got the spray there.
That's a question I was going to raise, Danny, because no one's raised it. I thought about it about 2 days ago and I forgot to ask you. It's obviously possible that mosquitoes could transfer the virus. No one has mentioned it. I
Right.
wonder whether you've had any consultation along that line. Because we know mosquitoes bite me, then they bite you. I'm not sure.
So you need to write a letter to the press.
Well, no, there's no point. It's just whether it is
But how does that
transferable.
work then, the people in the cold climates that have got it? Because there's not...
Look, you get mosquitoes in cold climates.
Mm.
People think that's not true, but that it is. You do get, not as many. It's not a swamp. But mosquitoes are quite versatile. Or midgies. Midgies bite people and then bite other people.
I suppose it's an interesting question.
Because we know malaria is transferable
I'm
through
just
mosquitoes.
thinking like where Martina lives.
Yeah, that's tropical, so.
Yeah, but there's not as many cases there as...
Well, they just, I mean, did you read the article that Joko Widodo said?
Yeah.
He said, I didn't want to alarm the people, so I kept it low key.
Mm.
Really? 275 million people in small islands? Don't tell them, they won't notice.
Mm.
I'm so full of dust.
Well, mask.
I think Danny must be getting ready. She maybe not heard what I asked.
Yeah.
It's the one question I haven't seen asked, let alone answered, in regards to this virus. Can mosquitoes transfer it?
Repeat it.
Question, Danny, and I thought about it a couple of days ago, and I thought maybe you've had consultation over it. Can mosquitoes transfer the virus? No one's asked that question. It might be a good question to raise. There's certainly parts of the US that have lots of swamps and lots of skeeters. Now, it's not been to the forefront in regards to how it's transmitted, but it's a question that's not, I've not seen raised.
Mm.
Well, they carry all sorts. Mosquitoes carry different types: dengue fever, Ross River fever. I had Ross River. That nearly wiped me off.
There's two
But
different
is
dengue, yeah.
it transferable through them biting you and then biting me? But we both got blue blood, so it wouldn't affect us, but other people. It might be a good question to raise, because in the US, you're coming into your warmer months, and of course that means more mosquitoes. Or insects in general, like in Canada you got the black fly starting to appear, midgies, or no-see-ums, I think you guys call them. So I don't know. I mean, I have not seen it raised once. There's not one entomologist that's gone and said, no, you're right, no, mosquitoes can't transfer it, you're all good.
You watch tomorrow.
It'll be on the news.
Yeah.
It'll be on the news tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a very easy test to do. Just get a mosquito to bite someone with the virus, and then get him by what they call a dummy sack. And if the virus exists, we'll know. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it's probably not possible, but to give you my idea is that if I get bitten and you're sitting next to me and you get bitten, that's a very quick transfer, which means the virus lives in the blood. Is that possible? We don't know. I mean, sometimes it doesn't happen, of course, like some viruses are not transferable from one species to another. But because it's blood, it's a different story. I mean, I'll give you an idea. If I took a needle and drew a bit of blood out of my arm and put it into your arm, and I had the virus and you didn't, it's a very good chance that you will. It might be worth raising because you're in the industry. Maybe it'll go higher up the chain. You know what I'm talking about. Has anyone looked at it? Because you're coming into your summer and there are a lot more bugs around in summer. The reason I thought of it is that this virus started in China, quite cold when it started, and it transferred to other countries, quite cold. And it's just starting to come down to the equator. So, I mean, maybe the answer's not been raised because the season was where it was at the time. I'm sure within most medical facilities there would be a reference to an entomologist in regards to things like malaria and things like that. So maybe you'll be able to find someone within the chain of command. At least, I mean, because this question, give you an idea why I say it. Let's say in Louisiana, in 2 months' time, it's 85 degrees, 90 degrees, and people are getting bitten by mosquitoes. They will be wondering the same question. Oh, are these mosquitoes from the neighbour who's got the virus? Am I going to get the virus? So it will come up, but it hasn't come up yet because of the circumstance when and where the virus started. China, at the time of the year, late December, very cold in parts of Wuhan. So temperature-wise, there's probably next to no mosquitoes.
Yeah, but then that sort of says that they wouldn't transmit it. But you don't know.
Sometimes
Yeah.
viruses cannot be transferred from insect to humans, but in this case, because it's a blood-sucking beast, like I say, without doubt, if I took just a minute amount of my blood and I had the virus and injected it into Danny, there's a very good chance that she would get the virus. Is the mosquito the same? There was a virologist who actually said he's never seen such a virus being so easily transmitted. And he made a bit of a joke, but it was meant to just metaphor what he was saying. And that was, he said, this virus is like if you look at someone, you might get it. Because they just don't know the unknowns about why it's so easily transmittable. Never know, Danny, if you raise the question, maybe you'll win a Nobel Peace Prize, which is $1 million. Which means not only can you come to Australia, you can come here first class. There's not a great deal of difference between first class and business class, except the price. No, I don't want any credit. I want you to have all the glory. Just say you were going through the forest with a shotgun hunting Sasquatch, and you got bitten by a mosquito, and you thought to yourself, has Sasquatch got the virus and the mosquito bit him? Now he's biting me. So we've been thinking about the pool and leaning towards a big spa, but we haven't done anything about it, have we?
Well, we
Mind
don't
you, we've
have
been
to
busy.
yet, yeah. There's a few other things what we want to get done. I need to,
Well, if it's a spa, I can go in any time. It's not an issue.
that's right. So I can hear ball bouncing or something.
Pardon?
I can hear ball.
Balls bouncing.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it's the oily deck.
Another early night.
What is the time?
Nearly 8:30.
Oh no, that late, eh?
I just felt good going to bed early.
Might make a stew up tomorrow if I get time. Carrots, onions, garlic. With some nice chuck steak in there.
In the fridge or freezer.
Freeze, I'll take it out tonight. Nice big broth of stew. Yum.
I'll vacuum. Might be so smelly hopefully tomorrow, hey, in there.
Hello, Scarlett. Poppy Field.
I didn't want to vacuum in there today with that paint smell.
No, it's oil-based primer.
Yeah.
Stinky.
But I want to get those 2 rooms vacuumed again.
Well, let me go ahead of you and just sand those patches I've done.
Well, don't you stand there too long.
No, I'll only be
smell.
5-10 minutes. That'll be good.
Yeah, especially in the,
You don't really need to vacuum until the carpet comes in, and they generally do it anyway.
no, I will vacuum tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if they might vacuum, but I want to do it anyway.
They'll go through with a chipper, and they'll take any dags off, and if
You
there's any
reckon?
sort of holes, they'll fill it. Yeah, they will. That's what they do.
Well, there's only one bit that I told you about that I hadn't actually shown you that I couldn't get off.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
There's a chisel in there. You get anything off with that.
there doesn't seem to be anything else. Just needs a vacuum. Found my bottle of echinacea in the cupboard, so I'm taking that every day. A teaspoon of honey
Right.
on top of my honey tea.
Mm-hmm. You have to get going, but did you hear that President Trump is rolling out $3-4 billion? Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
good.
they're doing that in Australia. In 2008 in Australia, everyone got about $3,000,
I
Danny.
think he's doing. Normally, that wouldn't be a decision made, would it?
I think it's $1,000. Is it a household or is it
Yeah.
per person?
No, per household.
Okay, well that's not as much then, because each Australian is getting 750 now, and another boost in another month, I believe. That's everybody.
Well, that's good to hear, Danny. And
But it's about time, because we do bail out the people here, and this is the time to bail out the Americans. Hello, VMAC.
and Danny, take care driving.
I thought it
You're
was
off
per
to work.
person. I could be wrong, but there's a lot of people that will need money. The businesses in Australia, they're being supported up to the extent of about 30,000 per business. People are a little bit confused. It's not a gift, the business one. It's a very low interest loan that you can pay back over a longer period. But it may sustain businesses enough to give them cash flow.
VMAC.
Because we're going to come out at the end of this in a different world.
VMAC was still working. Oh, it's
Snowed and spring. Yeah, well, it's cool here.
Oh, it is.
It's about 22 degrees. I've got a jumper on. The missus has got a big dressing gown on.
Yes, deciding which dressing gown to wear. So possibly I'll get a snow bunny VMAC.
Yeah, she'll send you a
Come
snow
on.
bunny.
VMAC, do
It'll just
me
be a bit wet when you get the letter.
VMAC, do me a snow bunny and email me the picture. She'll say no.
For 22 degrees. It's cold.
22.
And just imagine VMAC in the middle of summer here. What's
Yeah,
the
she's-
temperature outside, Seeds? Oh,
Yeah.
it's only 41.
She's tough. She'd survive.
She'd only come out at night time.
It's very still tonight too, isn't it?
We get these little cool days at the end of summer. But in another few days it's back up to 90 odd, which is normal.
Oh, yes, I'm very quick to pull on the dressing gown and socks. I
You have a
tell
great day, Danny. Be careful.
right.
And remember, rectal thermometer for all.
Yes, be safe, Danny.
Yeah, it's a strange word, shelter in place. That means you might be away from home. That would be my interpretation. Now, shelter in place could be at home, but not everybody is at home. I can see in the US when they get outbreaks, it's already happened in New York, of course, in different boroughs, but they're going to be cities like Chicago just say roads are closed. They'll allow maybe only food to come in, medications. And I think it won't be universal in cities, it'll be based on outbreaks. You're self-inebriated.
We actually forgot about it, VMAX.
No, I didn't forget about it.
Well, I did, because it usually is a big thing here, and everyone's on ads on TV. Go here, it's going to be this on. There was absolutely nothing on TV about it, was
No,
there?
it was very...
Nothing.
The Irish are waking up, or woke up yesterday and thought, oh, Paddy's Day, but no one's going out to do anything.
No. So did you have some green drinks, VMAC?
Irish pubs here are really good, but there'd be no one there. I've got an Irishman working for me, and he said it's just nothing.
Yeah, it was a bit sad, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He would have.
Yeah, actually there was, you've started to see the concerts online by artists, musicians. There's apparently a guy who did a video, and I haven't been able to find it, but he's in a pub, but it's in his house. It's like a man cave, and he's giving people virtual beers where he pours it, puts it in
Yeah.
front of the camera. Cheers to you.
And you know what? Someone else I saw on YouTube. There's a guy with in a room that's got lots of mirrors, and cheers to you, and cheers to you, clinking the glass in
Yeah.
the mirror.
You're going to have a sense of humour during these times.
And what the people are suggesting here for Anzac Day, at 6 o'clock in the morning, if everybody went out to the end of their driveway and just had a minute silent, and then go in and watch the live coverage.
Dawn service.
Yeah, that they're doing with no spectators. Now, how awesome would that be actually to see that happen? Everyone went to the end of the driveway and just stood for a minute.
Or people to do it at different times, so it wouldn't be.
Well, yeah, because the different times in the States, but in the different states here.
It's there's a lot of bad things with what's happening, but there are some good things that are happening. People are lifting and helping each other. We've got thousands of people. They started a Facebook page in Australia. A lady started it where just the lady next door actually didn't have any toilet paper,
And she's elderly.
and someone donated a bunch of toilet paper to her, and there's lots of people now joined, thousands of people. Just stuff, you know, it might seem irrelevant, but it's people care. Sorry, I missed what VMAX said. I'm doing a virtual reading for a nursing home tomorrow. Excellent.
Oh, that's nice.
That's excellent, because you talk about people that would really feel vulnerable would be in care homes, nursing homes, because in Australia, no children are allowed to visit nursing homes now, and by appointment, maximum, even when people are in hospice, 2 maximum. They don't want any visitors. They are the most vulnerable.
There's a lot of libraries have closed as well.
Mm-hmm. See, people have not yet to be told not to go to certain places. They're just not going anyway. The amount of restaurants that have gone bust here in the last 5 or 6 weeks is staggering. And we're seeing some of the bad behaviour, like at supermarkets, where people are physically fighting.
Yeah, that sort of has shocked a lot of people.
Mm.
But, I mean, everybody's up in arms about it, but there's people doing it. So,
But it's going to be the same world. It's just going to be different when this is finished. Every country is going to be down economically. It's just a fact. Businesses will go under. People that are in business that don't have a buffer zone to face a hard time, well, they were already in a precarious position if you think about it.
and people that can work at home, a lot of businesses have worked it out that people can work from home, but it still affects everybody.
Oh, glass between speakers. Like the movie Midnight Express.
Oh God, they love it, AV Mac. Well, at least you can still communicate then. It's good they thought of something.
May I ask what the story is that you're reading tomorrow?
We couldn't let you do that because you'd read something scary.
Yes, hello old people, good morning. Are you still alive? I hope you're alive at the end of this hour-long story that I'm going to tell you. The story is about the mad nurse
That's not a
who
good
mixes up medications.
That would not be a good story.
So you're an orator, which is good. It's a good gift to have. It's the oldest gift of humanity, being a storyteller. Of course, the other profession's a lot older, but you know, we're talking about stories being handed down. Poetry readings on the weekend that I'm reading The Raven. Actually, if you look on my channel, I have a different version, but it's The Raven. Yes, it's about e-beggars. You'd enjoy it, I think. So type in Seas to Freedom in YouTube and the word Raven. Or maybe Mystic Angel can find it for you.
Okay.
And put it in a link. Hello, Buttercup. I was a bit alarmed when I read your Chief Medical Officer's report yesterday morning, Buttercup. He hopes that only 20,000 people will die. I bet that cheered a lot of people up. Hello, Lake Shadow.
What am I typing in?
But you can sound evil. Actually, you know the true story, VMAG. How you type, you can work out people's personalities, because
Sometimes.
typing is the same as talking.
What am I typing in?
Seeds to Freedom, first of all, and then the word raven.
Storytime the Raven?
Yep.
You've got two.
Can I have a look? I think they're exactly the same thing. I don't know why there's two.
Well, let me click on one.
Just do that one. I don't know how I doubled up there. Just whack it in and then VMAC.
Bless you. You sneezed. Where's the cross?
No, it's the dust. Whole house is like the Sahara Desert.
I know.
I think the words could have been better appropriated, Buttercup, along the lines, we hope to minimise the loss of life. That sounded good. Didn't sound that good because it still means loss of life, but no, I hope to keep it to under 20,000 deaths. The Lisbonine Post. I think Mystic Angel's getting it.
I am. Just got to get priorities right. You've got to give the kisses to everybody first. Did I miss anyone? Let's see if that works.
Click on that and see if it comes up. You can watch it later if you like, mate. Actually, I don't know how long it goes for. It's not long, is it?
I thought BMAC actually was 6 minutes.
6 minutes. I had a quick look at the video and I just pissed myself laughing. It looks like a mushroom. No, you shouldn't give kids scissors. That's all I can say. It'll always end in tragedy. But the airline industry is just about completely dead here. We heard a plane about half an hour ago. That's the only one I've heard tonight.
Yeah, notice how quiet still it is.
Yeah. Most of the airline company here have grounded at least 3/4 of their fleets. But airplanes can't be left idle. They need to be serviced. No worries. No, I just thought you might find it interesting. You'll see, you'll get the reasoning behind the story.
I've got socks on, but my feet are cold. Butty? Oh, you're buffering.
Am I?
Yeah, pretty bad actually.
Sorry. I mean not to buffer.
No, it stopped. We stopped buffering? Nope.
Hello? Am I here?
Nope, seems to come back again. Yeah, Butty, I saw that. He cut it himself. I can't believe it. Buffering again. Stopped.
I just saw Buttercup's comment, so
Yeah, me too.
sometimes it spins, but it works. I don't know. In
Yeah,
and out. Well, apologies.
The spirits are... Yeah, it is. It keeps...
I don't know. I do know, but with a lot of people working from home, there'll be a drop in bandwidth for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have less.
Cutting your hair doesn't solve dandruff problem. No, it looks like what did I say?
I don't think it was Larry Ormo What was it? There was 4 Marx Brothers. Groucho, Larry, Moe. Who's the other one? I think the other.
Larry, Curly, and Moe.
No, there were 4.
No, there was 3. Larry, Curly, and Moe. I'm looking at it.
Groucho.
The 3 Stooges. Groucho was someone completely different.
Okay.
Groucho Marx.
Yeah, the Marx Brothers.
That's different.
You sure? I'm very tired.
Yeah, and don't make me question myself.
Do I remember Bill and Ben, flower pot Ben? Do, do, do. Oh, weed. I remember watching that on the BBC.
It's buffering really bad.
Yes, the BBC. Today's episode of Bill and Ben has sexual connotations. I do apologise for the buffering. My phone must be tired as well.
Breaking up. It's not you,
Could be the internet, I don't know. It is what it is. I do apologise on behalf of the production team here, but we're underpaid. Have you seen that video, Buttercup, of the Raven that I did, the story of the Raven? I used to do a lot of stories, actually. Stopped doing them when we got busy.
Oh, and in a couple of weeks, Buddy, hopefully we won't sound so tired.
Too late with the info. I refreshed.
Okay.
Probably slipped on something comfortable.
Yes.
Bit of lipstick, bit of eyeshadow.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you refreshing has helped our system, VMAC. Ooh, spooky.
I'm not sure. On the outskirts of a country town in British Columbia where no one leaves. Welcome to tonight's story. The story of the town called VMAC. It was a misty, cold morning. First day of spring, and it snowed. You could hear the crunching of the feet walking upon the hardened, shallow
Wouldn't it be the crunching of
bed
the
of
heels?
snow. Working in your PJs? Good idea. Nothing more comfortable than doing it easy.
Oh yeah, I could live in my PJs. If I wasn't frowned upon, I'd go to the shop in them.
Yes, she would. And not a sound could be heard on the streets of VMAC.
Oh, she only got PJ pants on. That's what she wrote.
So you got no top on.
Lazy,
I have visions.
lazy today, working in my PJ pants.
And the people of VMAC would peer out of their door as Mayor VMAC walked past.
Oh, she's got boots on now.
That's the sort of a sound of wet snow.
Oh,
It's spring.
okay.
She stopped on the edge of the village, pulled out a detonator, and blew everybody up. She smiled, wry smile, one side of her face only, and she walked off into the distance, searching for a new town. Don't forget to buy Pears soap.
Oh, she's got a jumper on.
Remember the old radio says you'd have, if you use Omo, you're going to be one of the most happiest ladies in the whole street. Omo, only 5 dimes, 25 cents, that's right, for a whole box of the wonderment called Omo. Now back to your radio show. As VMAC walked across the hill to the neighbouring village of Boit, because VMAC had been destroyed, she was wearing her pyjamas, walking in the wet spring snow.
And a Canadian hockey jersey.
The Canadian Mountie rode past, looking backwards with an astonished look on his face. He'd never seen a woman walking in the wet snow, only wearing PJs and no top. He called for backup. This is Canadian news. We have a wild woman wandering the streets of Boyd, topless. There was some old English cricket commentators that I used to like listening to, and they would improvise. They had very poor sound other than in the studio that they were watching the game from. But this was the sort of noise you'd hear. They'd pick up a pencil. Lawson comes into bowl to Bradman. Great shot off the back foot, cut through and it's gone for 4. Well done. Just actually sit there with pencils and go, yes, driven through the covers, great shot. I thought it was quite, I didn't know about that till years later. I thought it was so clever. Not like the mics they can have right at the stumps now or on any game. You can hear all the players cussing and carrying on. Not in the early 60s. They were so polite, commentators in those days. They'd be like, oh, a bumper, and it's hit him in the shoulder. Oh, that must feel terrible. I feel for the young lad. Today's commentators, he bowls a bouncer, hits him on the shoulder, well, that'll teach him to come dancing down the wicket, won't it?
Big.
Yeah, look at that. I'm growing stuff. Those were the days of old radio. Now, the BBC, Buttercup can remember, used to have horror stories on the radio. Vincent Price, Lon Chaney, Boris Karloff, and many more. We used to have some, looking back, the names of some of the shows were funny. The Man with the Furry Feet. You go, right. And you think about it today, you think, what? Back then it was, whoa,
Yeah, but it was
must be a werewolf.
good story.
In fact, if any of you have watched Most Haunted, remember that show? I think it's finished now, but I think there's still plenty of reruns of Most Haunted. Her ending line is from one old British horror show, and it would be, sleep tight, now that I put the fear of God into you. Retro nights, really? Are they living in the 70s, VMAC? Yeah, I used to love listening to old radio shows. The Goons, remember the Goons, Buttercup? Oh. Let's see, Goon. I didn't do it. Most Haunters on Prime. Yeah, at the end of the show, she uses that line, sleep tight, which is from an old radio show. That's fair enough, bit of plagiarism, but after you tell someone a really scary story and you can imagine kids sitting around the radio, I hope you've enjoyed the show, children. Time to go to bed and dream. Sleep tight. Kids go to bed. No. A good old book or radio show makes you use your imagination. When you watch a video or a movie, it all unfolds before you. I used to love Doctor Who, even as a kid. 1963, the first episode. Do you remember when they just had, like, you call them room petitions now, like, they blackened them and they put them in the studio and they'd say, quick, let's go down the tunnel. And they'd knock the boards as they're going through. And the Cybermen in those days were made up basically of toilet rolls. And it was funny. But science fiction really wasn't on television till Doctor Who. I think the older Flash Gordon, but as a TV show, it was probably the first thing. And the thought that someone could regenerate. Yes, I may come back one day. Wilfred. Of course, then there was my two favourite Doctor Who's were my favourites, Tom Baker, Dark Shadows and Praying. Ooh. But the second Doctor, I think, was the funniest out of all of them. John Pertwee, not really. Exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. What are you trying to say, son? Exterminate. There's some weird dressed up monsters, didn't they, in the early days? Even as a kid, I'm thinking, nah, that's not believable. Yeah, John Pertwee was a bit different. He was more of a theatrical actor. And I watched him still, don't get me wrong. And then, of course, there were some weird doctors that sort of never should have been the Doctor. And probably in today's Doctors, Tennant was probably the better one out of the later ones.
Some of the memes.
Yeah, it just, I mean, I'm not a sexist, but it doesn't sort of cut it, you know what I mean, Buttercup? Someone made a good point years ago when they were talking about putting a female lead in there. They said, well, actually what we need to do is have a good, strong character female offsider first. But, yeah. Yeah, David Tennant encapsulated a little bit of the old Doctors. And if we're to believe the story of the Doctors, the first Doctor was John Hurt. That came a little bit late on the scene, but that's okay. Oh, is she? Okay. Well, there you go. She fits the role. I don't mind her acting. There's the difference. I don't mind her acting, don't get me wrong. It's like I'm trying to think of the name of the lady actor with Doc Martin. What's her name?
I can't remember her name.
She's a good actor, and I think she would have probably made a better Doctor. But I think they'll keep going with her for another season or two, I think. Because I don't know whether you've noticed, Buttercup, but it's gone back to being a kids' show, predominantly.
One of the memes.
All right. Good luck to you, VMAC, in your reading to the good people of that home.
It's VMAC going.
Yeah.
I'm not on there. Yes, enjoy.
Yep. Thanks, VMAC. We'll catch you later.
All these people better use protection that are quarantined. I don't need to go to 27.
Are you talking about condoms or?
Yeah, I don't need to go to 27 baby showers in December.
All right. Yes, this will be something our grandchildren will look back on.
Well, what is it? I'll be going to bed shortly. What's happening, Butty? You got your beautiful view again?
I think it's still a bit chilly where Buttercup is. The spring must be starting to raise its head. Drizzle, yep. Not a sort of song that you would hear Buttercup sing often in Wales. Sunshine on my shoulder makes me happy.
Oh, great.
Grey and cloudy. Just like a good broth.
It still can be a nice day. Even if it is like that, grey and cloudy.
Yes, I think it's time to toodaloo, I think. Because I'm well overdue for a sleep.
Yeah, especially being up since 1.
1:30. Makes a difference. I had an
Yeah.
extra half hour sleep.
Yeah,
I just had to get certain jobs done.
yeah.
Of course, I'm on my knees sanding, thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? Every time I do a little job, I don't have to do it again. Which is good.
Yeah, nearly. Yeah, that's why I said we won't sound so tired some nights in a couple of weeks.
Nah, a couple
Oh,
of
well,
months.
yeah.
The bulk of it's done, which is good. It's just lots of little things. And if I went round and showed you, you wouldn't be interested. Because it'd be boring. I spent 8 hours doing that one, and 6 hours doing that. But most of it's done. I've got to do the outside windows. I'll do this one first. Get that finished. Busy next week. Busy this week, but we've got painting to be finished. Going down tomorrow, look at some curtain rods.
That's,
Daily smoothies, including kale. Oh, yum. Tell her I'll just have the strawberry one, thanks. Yeah, I'm not very big into green smoothies. I like fruit smoothies. No. No, your system will kill anything with that in it. I mean, I prefer to eat like kale on a plate, or silver beet, bit of butter, bit of butter and black pepper.
yeah, I think it's time you go to bed.
Yes.
Well, that's right.
Yeah,
Marty.
I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. Just tired.
It's, you got to don't look at how far you've got to go, look at how far you've come.
No, I still know what I've got to do.
I shall say good night.
Well, go on now, pick it up and say good night. Go on, go on, go on, go on.
No, that's your job. No, because I'll knock it off. Oh, wait a minute.
All right. So what are you doing today, Buttercup? What's on the agenda? Relax, take the dogs for a walk, make something yummy for dinner. Because I'm going to make a stew tomorrow with some nice shin beef, onions, carrots, potatoes, and I shall put in garlic, braise it for a good couple of hours.
Mozzie, got him.
I'm not sure if you were here, Buttercup, when I asked. Nothing, so the energy's low, it is just me. But I feel a heavy atmosphere. Righto, let's brighten my day.
That's just because of what's happening, Butty. Don't let your atmosphere feel heavy.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's a time we are living through. Nothing we can do about it. But just show strength and resilience for others around you, like your daughter, your son. That's what I was going to say. I did ask Danny, I don't know whether you were here at the time, and that is, no one's raised the question, no entomologist has been on, or virologist on telly saying, I wonder if mosquitoes can pass on the virus. Possibly not, but no one's raised the question. And why I said to Danny that I thought of it a couple of days ago, because the virus started in China in the very cool months, went to other parts of the world that were still very cool, wood summer and the heat with swamps and more mosquitoes
Make it worse.
spread it. But I don't know. No virologist or entomologist has said, no, you can't. So the question's not been raised. So it'd be interesting if there is a definitive answer to that. because if it can be spread by mosquitoes. Rosie had some interesting info re the virus.
Oh.
Right, did it come from a 1989 van? The source? Smelled like a wet fish.
Oh, well, I will actually, Butty. Maybe tomorrow, I don't want to now, but yeah, I will. So, the latest one?
Buttercup, I'm tired. Give me the summary.
We'll have a scan
You have a look.
tomorrow.
I'm sleeping till at least 5
Could be
tomorrow.
too much for poor Butty to have to type out.
The thing about a theory, though, is that that's all it really is.
Well,
Yeah, you just said no actual info. A theory is based on speculation and sometimes innuendo, sometimes half-truths. And I've always been one that likes to deal with a fact. Like, if it's a fact, mosquitoes can't pass on the virus, that will give a lot of people a bit of relief. But I wish somebody would say it.
Not a theory.
I've read in newspapers over the last couple of weeks about spies, scientists. Hi, this is Henny. You just sent me a message. Hi, this is Henny. You must think I'm going to reply straight away. But I don't know. There's always going to be that undercurrent of biological warfare and things like that. And it will be more so as time goes on. I have no doubt. And the Russians will be implicated, the Americans will be implicated, Chinese, you name it. Because speculation along those lines is that people want somebody to blame. We talk about the Black Death that reoccurred over centuries. Talk about other things like influenzas, different ones that we don't even have names for in the Middle Ages. That happened. The ones we're currently familiar with are ones that have happened in the last couple of 100 years. So, but we're not familiar with thousands of years. Wuhan featured big time, kind of coincidental. Yeah, I did read something about the US selling information or something, or being a spy or something like that. But there's been plenty of them over the years. I always get annoyed when people who tell the truth are persecuted. There's many of them. Now, if it's not the truth, well, yeah, they should be persecuted. But if it's the fact and bringing it to the public's attention, why should we be kept in the dark? And that person shouldn't. That Daniel guy, lives in Russia still or something. It's like, it's just not fair that humanity gets lied to by their own governments. Yep. I think if we just surmise that this is a virus, and to say where it come from, doesn't matter to the people being affected by it. It's affecting them. But the truth is stranger than fiction a lot of the time. And when it comes out eventually, and believe me, there'll be many countries doing studies into it, checking out DNA, genomes. They'll be doing all that sort of thing. But in Australia, I think we've lost a number of people. But a lot of them are Chinese Australian. So it's still following that trend. I don't know what I know old people are dying in Australia, and they're Australian. But it's the ones that came back. Most of ours that have come to Australia have come from China. Be them Australian Chinese who went home for new moon celebrations and things like that.
I was going to bed.
All right. We shall
give the puppies a big hug and enjoy the grey cloud. Okay, you can give her a kiss now.
a kiss
Yeah.
on the hand. Can be quite continental.
Yeah. No
For diamonds are a girl's best friends. Good night to you all. May your day be filled with merriment, joy, happiness, and chocolate.
Oh yes, chocolate.
See you next time.